have the same dream result for Dan Blake as we had in the last reverse grid race at Donington. The yellow flags are out though, and we are going to have another safety car period. Again, not really a huge surprise given the fact that lots of drivers have had to head to the pit lane for repairs. So Marion Kramer's that 2.5 second plus advantage that he built up over Joel Evans in second place will be eradicated immediately. Whilst we were watching replays, Matthew Rees has come up into third place, so he could be a bit of a danger here to Marion Kramer's in this second race. Julian Rodriguez is fourth, Jaco van der Plat fifth, then it's Mackenzie Creswell. Yes, Mackenzie Creswell up 18 positions on the opening lap. How on earth is he? I'd love to see his on board if we can. Up to 6th position from well outside the top 20. Alex Johnson 7th, Frederick Lubin is 8th, Leon Penn 9th, and Kevin Zemstra in 10th. Damien, this is on board with Mackenzie Creswell, and this, I think, is going to be quite entertaining.
Yeah, this is going to be fantastic. You can see here, straight from the start, made up a couple of positions. Textbook start from him. Now coming into Rich's, this is the first pinch point where the cars start to get really close together. Sends it round the outside. That's another 1-2 positions gained. Now if he picks the right place here, he's going to pick up a few more at the hairpin. Yes, there we go. The contact on the inside. Manages to pick up another handful of positions. Good exit, and he's already set him up. There's a bit more contact there on your inside. And there we go. Mackenzie Creswell showing how you move through the traffic. And as we see here, he's already putting pressure on the cars ahead, looking to make up more ground. So amazing first lap for Mackenzie Creswell. He's taken his first podium in the championship, and as we see him break around the outside of Agostini and gain another place on his run up the order, he might be on for a second one in quick succession here. They're a bit like buses, these podiums.
Oh, we're still nowhere near 6th place. I'd love to know how he's still going to gain another few places. There you go.
That would about do it, yes.
Yes, that was at least 4 places gained. Yes, he cut the corner, but quite frankly, he had no alternative, did he? So no. That does now rather explain. Oh, there's another spin, look, coming out of Williams. Who's that in the tyre smoke? We're about to overtake it. Car on the right-hand side. Oh, I didn't quite catch the number. That will be... Oh, there's Jaco van der... no, it's not. It's Fred Lubin, wasn't it? Frederick Lubin, I think, the number 21 car. So that's another place gain for Mackenzie Creswell. How on earth he came out of all of that without any contact, I will never know. I think we might have to have a chat with Mackenzie after the race, regardless of where he finishes, because he will have a few stories to tell if he can even remember that first lap. Because Mackenzie Creswell, as he did, I find with many racing drivers, when they have such an exciting start to the race, it's sometimes all a bit of a blur, isn't it? Luke Browning, let's not forget about him, because he's also had quite a good start. He's gained 15 positions, which pales into insignificance almost against the 18 that Creswell gained, but it's still a good start that for Browning, up into 11th place, and already that puts him into the top 5 within the Pro class.
Yeah, and another driver making a lot of moves, Mathias Negazer on that opening lap, up from 29th, the very back of the grid, to 15th. Matthias has had a frustrating evening, had internet issues earlier in the night, so really hasn't been able to show his best, but moving up through the order now, up into P15, and we'll see if he can push on from here. He's swapping positions with Matthew Crisp. Oh, he's dropping down the order. It says he's out. Oh, and now it's fixed. So who knows what's going on with Mathias Negazer, but what I do know is he's made up a lot of positions on the opening lap.
You know those internet problems that you mentioned? I think they're rearing their ugly head again. You can see the car blinking in and out on the track. That's a sim racer's worst nightmare. It's bad enough for the driver that it's happening to. It's almost worse, though, for the drivers trying to race against them, because you never quite know where the car's going to go or reappear next. If it gets too bad, then he will get disconnected from the server, and I think that might not be too far away. There is Alex Palau. He's also gained some ground. 13th place for him at the end of the opening lap, although we're now going through on to lap 3 behind the safety car. And so Alex in 13th. Where is he in relation to Pablo Lopez? That's the question. Pablo is down in 26th. So Lopez has been involved in contact, hasn't he, at the start of the race? That, again, has some championship significance, doesn't it? Because remember, he and Palau separated by just 2 points coming into this race.
Yeah, frustrating start for him, and he'll be wanting to make up as much ground as he can on Palau, who's up to 13th. So perfect start for Palau, exactly what he wants. And we were saying this was an opportunity starting ahead for Lopez to get the lead of the Pro Sim class back. It's looking now like Palau might be able to extend it slightly further, but of course you've got drivers further forward who'll be taking big chunks out of them. We're looking at a replay here. I think some suspicion that Joel Evans might have jumped the start of the race. If he has, that's crucial, the man in second place. Yes, you see some creeping. Now, I don't have the lights on the right-hand side there for reference, but the way he creeped and then accelerated, Andy, I think there might be a case there.
Yeah, it's not so much whether you jump, it's if you move before the lights change. It doesn't matter whether you move and then stop, you've still moved, and that is definitely frowned upon. We'll wait and see what the clerk of the course has to say about that. We do have a clerk of the course who is monitoring these things in race, but there will still be some post-race discussions, I'm sure, about things that maybe get missed. So anyway, the evidence is there, I suppose, should they like to see it. We'll see. But for the time being, he is there in second position and leading in the Pro Sim class. So this would be a big result for Joel if he could hang on to that. I'm just looking to see what his best... Oh, he didn't score any points at all in the Pro Sim class at Donington. So already things are looking up for him. But he's got some very, very quick drivers around him. The good news is, though, that for them at least, for people that are looking for a good result and have themselves some good track position at the moment, the good news is that the safety car is eating away into the race. It's not good news for us. We want the race to get going again, and I'm sure that those like Luke Browning and Alex Palau, who have ground to gain, are going to want the safety car to come in fairly quickly. But for people like Marion Kramers, and particularly I'm thinking Joel Evans and Matthew Rees, this safety car isn't necessarily the end of the world because it's taking away opportunities for some of the quick drivers behind to reach them at the front and ultimately overtake them and knock them off the podium.
Yeah, as you say, eating into the time at the moment. It's not ideal. Hopefully we won't need the safety car for too much longer and we can get underway whilst we've still got a good 10 to 12 minutes of this time to run. We're on board with Luke Browning, weaving, trying to get the heat into the tyres. He mentioned in his post-race one interview about being under the safety car really gives you cold tyres. So Luke Browning doing his best to maintain temperature there. Now, the problem for Luke Browning, I suppose, if Luke Browning ever has problems on iRacing, is that he's got a lot of quick drivers in front of him now. They've all made progress through the field together and avoided the incidents. So he's going to have to really pick his moves here and move through the field. I don't know if he'll have sort of 2, 3, 4 cars going off in one go to take advantage of now. Now, we've seen Luke, he's blisteringly quick, pole position, pulled away this evening. Now it's time for him to roll his sleeves up and do some overtaking.
Yeah, you can see the way that he's weaving around. He's weaving far more vigorously than any of the other drivers around him. And again, that's just his experience, not only in the real world, but we mustn't underestimate the amount of practice that he has on the sim, particularly in iRacing. He is very, very quick in both the virtual and the real world, and that's just another example there of his experience, I think, coming in. He knows how important it is to get those tyres up to temperature. Marion Kramers, I better hope he's got some tyre temperature up, though, because a restart is imminent. The safety car is pulling into the pit lane, and it's Marion Kramers' job now to control the pace of the restart. Marion was a regular front runner in the first season of the British Formula 4 iRacing Trophy. He would love to take a race victory here tonight. He floors the throttle, away he goes, and look, safety car stayed out because what's going on? There's contact as the safety car is still out. It's all gone wrong, and that has taken out, I'm afraid, some of our front runners. Mackenzie Creswell, I think, was involved in contact. Kevin Zempstra as well, and Alex Johnson's dropping down the field. That was unfortunate. The message clearly was that the safety car was coming in. The drivers thought the safety car was coming in anyway, but the safety car did not come in, and unfortunately that's caught a few people out behind, and well, we'll try to get to the bottom of exactly how that happened, but the end result is that it has taken out quite a lot of our front-running drivers, and even Luke Browning has lost a bit of ground in all of that too. Ooh, that's not what we wanted to see, is it?
No, less than ideal that. Not sure entirely what happened, because certainly from the angle we were looking at, it looked like we were gearing up for the restart. Marion Kramers backing them all up, weaving, getting his tyre temperature in. So not sure what's happened then. I suppose the chain of events was started. We saw Joel Evans just go off to the infield on the exit of the last corner. But then, you know, we get all the same shots that you at home are looking. You cut to the main straight and the safety car stood there in the middle of our race leader. Now, looking at the order, it looks like even those that did have contact, I think they've managed to use their fast repair and stay where they are. So I suppose in the grand scheme of things, by and large, it looks like no harm done. But certainly a bizarre incident, and you know, definitely a first for us, Andy. This is probably the 10th or 11th race night we've run of this now, and we're still finding things to surprise us.
Yeah, exactly, and it's one of the quirks of the virtual world, I suppose. It's just slightly different procedures in place, and it is easy to catch you out. But yeah, you're absolutely right. This fast repair is a bit of a godsend, isn't it? Because it gives drivers a chance to, well, repair their car quickly, ultimately, and if they do have dramas, particularly not of their making, it can be quite a nice get-out-of-jail-free card. So one has to assume that the safety car will come in this time, but I guarantee the drivers will be watching intently. The lights are out on the safety car, so it looks like we are going racing this time, he says, tentatively, as we now do move into the second half of the race. I remind you, it's Marion Kramers that leads the way, having started down in 4th on the grid. That demon start that he had didn't get off the line especially well, but he just took so much more speed through the first corner than the cars in front of him, took it 3 wide into the Wilson hairpin, and took the lead away. Joel Evans is second, leading the Pro Sim class. Matthew Rees in third. Julian Rodriguez is fourth. Then it is Jaco van der Plat fifth. Mackenzie Cresswell sixth. Alex Johnson, Fred Lubin, Leon Penn, and Luke Browning round out the top 10. So Browning has gained a position out of all of that. I have to say I'm not entirely sure who it is that's out of position, but Luke Browning moves into the top 10 overall now, and that is 5th position in the pro class. We've got 5 pro drivers in the top 10 and 5 pro sims as well, again showing that there is a certain level of parity here, isn't there, between the two classes?
Yeah, very well matched, and that's exactly what we want to see. That's one of the points of the iRacing trophy, is to get the best of our real-world drivers against the best that the sim racing community has to offer. And something else we want to see is actual racing action. So glad to see the safety cars in this lap. We've still got just under half the race to go, and hopefully these 8 minutes make up for the 8 or 9 that we've spent under caution at the moment. A bit longer than we would have liked, especially with that incident at the end of the last lap. But it doesn't matter now. We're getting ready to go racing, and Marion Kramers has got a job to do.
It's been almost as dramatic a start to this race as we had in the reverse grid race at Donington. In Donington, we had 5 lead changes in the first lap alone of that reverse grid race. Well, this time we had a good 2 or 3 before we even got to the second corner. But once Marion Kramers got in front, it did look as though he'd be able to pull away. And that is his job now, again, at the restart. Joel Evans will be careful not to lose the rear of the car again, accelerating out of Murray's, which he does. All Kramers... again, accelerates and then slows down, and now he does go. He nearly caught the safety car. That was the problem. Kramers nearly caught the safety car and had to slow down again. Kramers does now go, leaves Joel Evans behind to fend off Matthew Rees, who goes to the inside into Rich's corner. Matthew Rees takes the pit exit to move into second, and that was a pivotal manoeuvre. He had to do that before Kramers got away, but he's run wide on the exit. Evans is back on the inside into Wilson, and Joel Evans moves back into P2. So it was a crucial manoeuvre for Matthew Rees to make, but he wasn't able to make it stick.
Yeah, really good move from Rees there, just to dive to the inside, but Evans managed to judge it well and just get back at the inside of him. But of course, this squabbling is letting Kramers get away. 1.4 seconds almost he is away. We're on board with Luke Browning, a couple of places up from the restart. He's got to be careful. He's just made up another one as well. I think that was Leon Penn going off in Agostini. Those incidents are a good opportunity for him to make up places, but if he's in the wrong place for one, that's him out of the race as well. So he's got to be careful here, Luke Browning.
Yeah, that nearly happened then. He was trying to go around the outside of Leon Penn, who locked up and ran wide and nearly took him with him. Someone else running wide there, going through Oggies, which I think must have been Matthew Rees, because Rees has dropped behind Browning now. Remember, Rees was dicing for second at the restart, so Joel Evans is now second, or still in second, I should say, with Alex Johnson into third, and Frederick Lubin fourth. We're on board with Browning. That is Frederick Lubin ahead of us, and attacking Lubin is Jaco van der Plat, who's on the left-hand side of the road, puts him on the wrong side going into Nelson. Another place gained by Luke Browning. He's into the top 5 already. Frederick Lubin is his next challenger, and this is significant because this would be for second place in the pro class. And you can see the distance they're losing to the cars in front. Lubin way wide through Coram Corner, and that means he's all at 6s and 7s going through Murray's. He locks up, runs out wide, and across the line they go. So it is Browning then into 4th position, and Frederick Lubin and Jaco van der Plat busy battling for 5th position. Ahead of them, though, that is the fight for second place. Joel Evans fending off Alex Johnson. It's second place overall, Damien, but this is also for the lead of the Pro Sim class. Yeah,
now what's happened to Matthew Rees? He's dropping down the order, down into 9th, 8th place. He's swapping positions with Alex Palau. So has there been an incident that we've missed there? Because that was the original battle for second place. So something's clearly gone on there. Matthew Rees is his debut in the British F4 iRacing Trophy, and something's happened. He's still running well within his class. I think we're going to see a replay now. Now, see, at this point, he's already further down the order with Alex Palau. So I'm not sure what's happened. He was in the battle for second, but clearly something's gone on there.
Yeah, he went off, or he had a moment of some sort in the previous lap. I think he ran wide at Oggies. There was a car, when we were on board with Luke Browning, there was a car to his left bouncing along the grass at this part of the circuit. It was a red car, and I'm assuming it was Matthew Rees, but we didn't get a clear look at the number. Certainly, all of the clues are pointing towards the fact that Matthew went off at Oggies, and that's why he's dropped down the order. He's ninth now, as you said, behind Alex Palau, who's up to 8th place overall, 5th in the Pro Sim class. This is the fight for second place. Alex Johnson ahead of Joel Evans now, so Johnson is into the class lead, and he's into second place overall. Jaco van der Plat is on the grass in the background, so he's going to lose out. Alex Palau gains another fairly easy place, but right behind Johnson and Evans here, we have Luke Browning, the overall championship leader. He's running second in the pro class at the moment, doesn't have to win this race by any stretch. He's already beating all of the pro drivers that he really needs to worry about, but we know Luke Browning, he's never backwards in coming forwards. He'll want to gain these places, and he's already doing it because he's up the inside of Joel Evans across the line. This is for third place overall. Luke Browning sets the fastest lap of the race. He gets the inside line for Rich's corner, and he moves through into third place. He hasn't quite got the move finished yet, but he's got the inside for Wilson. And actually, it's not going to be all that easy because Joel Evans tries to fight him through the corner, locks up, runs wide though, and now Browning is secure in third.
Now, how quickly can Luke Browning clear Alex Johnson here and set about trying to catch Marin Kramers? Kramers has got a 4.5 second lead out front, so he's fairly comfortable, and there's not going to be a tow if Luke Browning can get into second. And Kramers has already shown, both virtually and in the real world, he's a very handy driver. So Luke Browning really now needs to clear Alex Johnson and get up into P2 as quickly as he can. We're seeing some fantastic battles further back as well.
Yeah, Silas Krag-Vrolik here in 6th position overall, trying to keep Alex Palau behind, and Palau goes grass tracking coming out of Hamilton. This is for 6th overall, but for a class podium. Palau already has had one class podium today in the first race. He would love to get another one in race number 2. He was, I think I'm right in saying, yeah, he was off the podium in the reverse grid race at Donington, off the overall podium and the class podium. And here today, he has a chance to get himself back into the top 3, but that moment certainly hasn't helped him. It lost him ground, also put dirt on the tyres, and that means that he's got certainly reduced grip for the next few corners. There is no lack of grip, though, underneath Luke Browning, who, on rails, it seems, has simply cruised up onto the back of Alex Johnson in second place. This is the overall championship leader then, trying to find a way past the Pro Sim class race leader. The pair of them, though, 4.3 seconds behind Marin Kramers, with only a minute and a half to go. I don't think either of these two are going to catch Marin.
No, it looks as if Marin Kramers is going to be able to halt Luke Browning's winning streak. Admittedly, only half a race or so with the safety car. Somebody I just want to draw attention to, Kai Askey, now up into 11th place. He was several positions further back than this on the restart, so the Carlin driver making excellent progress. Oh, and we can see him down at the Wilson hairpin there, running side by side with another car. There's a big gaggle of them there, all going into the same braking zone, but he's made plenty of progress as Kai Askey in this one.
Yeah, that was Julian Rodriguez that he had contact with, and unfortunately Rodriguez has had to go to the pit lane for repairs after that, I think. So Kai Askey was doing well, but that little bit of contact has maybe just affected his performance, although he seems to have come out of it without too much damage. Behind him is Ryan Mikulev and Pablo Lopez in the Fordzilla car. So Lopez is doing well, but so too Mikulev, who's gained 16 positions from where he started. Luke Browning is unsurprisingly the biggest mover on in third position. That's 23 spots gained. Silas Krag-Vrolik in 6th has gained 21 though, as out wide goes Mikulev coming out of Williams, and that's an easy pass for Lopez and possibly for Matthew Crisp as well. He's got a double slipstream. He's catching the pair of them. As out of Brundle and Nelson goes Marin Kramers on what should be the final lap, because we've got 6 seconds left to go. He's not quite going to get back to the flag in time. Is Alex Johnson going to keep Luke Browning behind him for second? There's more than a second between them now, so I think he will. We'll get to that in a moment, though, because Marin Kramers is going to win a dramatic 4th round of the British Formula 4 iRacing Trophy. His first win of the season here at Snetterton. Second place does go to Alex Johnson. Luke Browning dropped back on the final lap. We'll try and figure out what happened there if we can. Joel Evans, after a very dramatic race, is 4th and 2nd in the Pro Sim class. Frederick Lubin is 5th. Then Alex Palau gets himself a double class podium with 6th overall. Then it is 7th for Silas Krag-Vrolik, 8th Jaco van der Plat, 9th Nathaniel Hodgkiss, and 10th place for Kai Askey. Just waiting for the final few drivers to come through at the end of a bizarre race, let's be honest, but an entertaining one nonetheless. When they weren't driving into each other, there was lots of good side-by-side action, and Luke Browning again proves why he is the championship favourite, really, because Luke Browning, who was the championship leader already coming into this weekend, was championship runner-up in season 1 of the iRacing Trophy before, of course, going on to win the real World Championship. And now he'd love to add the virtual championship to his tally as well. So Marion Kramers then gets himself the race win, his first of the season. And for him, it was a pretty faultless drive after the dramatics of the opening lap or so, and a really, really bold move to go 3 wide into the lead, into the Wilson hairpin. Damien, I don't think there's any doubting the fact that Marion Kramers thoroughly deserved that win.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. He made a fantastic move at the start to get himself into the lead. And, yes, the safety car was out for a long time. And that's frustrating for everybody involved, as well as the people watching at home. The drivers want to race. But unfortunately, that many incidents on the opening lap, there isn't much alternative. But anyway, that aside, he made the move at the start. He got himself into the lead. He had to be there and get that done to be in a position after the restart to then control the race, which he's done superbly.
Yeah, absolutely. That was a bold drive, that from Marin. And in fairness, I think even if the race had been a full 20 minutes of green flag racing, he'd have been a tough man to catch. Alex Johnson in second place gets his first victory in the Pro Sim class. Now, remember, he was third in the points in class coming into this weekend. The first race of the night didn't necessarily go terribly well for him, but that's a nice haul of points there. And he beats people like Alex Palau, for example, Pablo Lopez as well. Some of the front runners in the Pro Sim category are behind Johnson in that race. So that definitely brings him into contention as we now hit the halfway mark of the championship. Well, Marion Kramers then is the winner. We're just going to run through the official results before we have a chat with our top 3. Kramers the winner, Johnson second, Luke Browning in third, with Fred Lube in fourth and Alex Palau in fifth. Silas Krag-Vrolik is sixth ahead of Jaco van der Plat, Nathaniel Hodgkiss is in eighth ahead of Kai Askey and Matthew Rees. Then it's Pablo Lopez, who will again lose some points there to Alex Palau, his teammate in the Pro Sim Championship race. Ryan Mikulev is 12th. Matthew Crisp, Ashley Beard, and Julian Moreno round out the top 15, ahead of Callum Brandt. Mackenzie Creswell really unlucky in that one after a demon start, and Leon Penn in 18th position. 19th place is Joel Evans, 20th for Joseph Loke, and now Joel Evans was classified fourth. I wonder if there's a penalty that's been applied there for that spin behind, for the jump start. So the jump start was adjudged to have happened there for Joel, so he's given a time penalty, drops down to 19th. Joseph Loke is 20th, and then Dan Blake, Kevin Zemstra, Georgie Dimitrov, Thomas Pintos, Roldan Rodriguez, James Headley, David Castilla, and Mathias Negazer were all in the wars and all finish a lap or more down. Right then, let's have a word with our podium men then, shall we? And we'll start with our race winner, which was a well-deserved victory as well for Marion Kramers, and I think he is waiting outside the commentary box to come and have a chat with us. And Marion Kramers then, congratulations on the race win. An incredible start. I mean, you really did all of the work in the first couple of corners. Talk us through that first lap from your perspective.
Thank you. Yeah, I got off the line pretty well, and then had a good run into turn 2. And from then on, I was just managing the race, really.
You make that sound very easy, but I'm sure that move you made into the hairpin was not easy. I mean, did you think that if you waited any longer, you might not get another chance to get into the lead, if you see what I mean?
Yeah, I wasn't really too sure. I think these other guys are quite quick, so I wanted to get ahead of them as fast as possible and just hope for some carnage behind, and that's exactly what happened. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah, it worked really well for you, and it's what you needed, really, isn't it? Because Donington Park didn't go all that well for you. You were involved in a few incidents, had a lot of bad luck, so it must be nice now to get back to the sort of performance we saw from you last season.
Yeah, exactly. Donington really didn't go my way. I didn't qualify for the first race, trying to be smart because I thought I would be in the mid pack. So I was trying to avoid the carnage in lap 1, and yeah, that really didn't work out in my favor as I got taken out anyway. So then race 2 was just a mess, and I didn't really have the pace to be up there. So I'm happy with this rebound.
Well, congratulations. It was a brilliant performance, especially in that opening lap. And we'll see you again, I'm sure, next time at Silverstone.
Okay, thank you.
Marion Kramers then the race winner in the fourth round of the championship. Second place, though, was Alex Johnson after a race-long battle with Joel Evans, and he joins us now. Yes, Alex Johnson, congratulations, second place, but the win in the Pro Sim class, which I guess is what you're really happy about. A really good performance, that, but you had to work for it.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I mean, I wanted P2 in the race regardless if it was with Luke or if it was someone else. I just wanted a podium. So yeah, that was very good. Yeah, and obviously good points for the sim race as well.
Yeah, what happened on the final lap? Because we saw that Luke was really starting to apply the pressure to you, and then by the end of that final lap, he dropped back. Was there a bit of a moment between you?
Yeah, I think he had aero wash going on to the back straight, so he ran out on the grass and got a little bit of and lost a little bit of time basically.
Right, okay, so no contact. That's good news. A solid result there. Good haul of points, 25 points for you. You needed that after the first race, didn't you? Because that one you weren't able to score as well, but you beat the Fordzilla drivers in this race, so that's got to make you happy.
Yeah, that was very good. I mean, both races were quite a mess, to be honest, but it was a fun mess.
That's the best kind of mess, isn't it, Alex?
Oh, indeed, for sure.
Well, congratulations. Second place in the reverse grid race for Alex Johnson. And again, we'll hope to speak to you again next time at Silverstone.
Definitely. Thanks up night, guys.
No problem. Alex Johnson then second place for him. And in third position was Luke Browning. Well, it looked for a while like Luke might not make it onto the podium, but he did get there on the very final lap of the race. Or towards the end of the race at least. And Luke, it's not quite a fourth win from 4 races, but after such a chaotic race as that, I suppose just getting to the end is a bit of an achievement.
Yeah, that was scary. Yeah, no, we all expected the safety car to go, and it didn't go. Yeah, so I'm so lucky I got through that, to be perfectly honest. And then I think Alex really wanted that P2, and obviously I wasn't in the same class as him, so I thought, I just sort of, just pointless battling for that position really. But yeah, I was really surprised how bad the aero wash was. It was a lot worse than I thought. Yeah, so experiencing that was a bit different.
Yeah, is that something that's changed with this update to iRacing a few weeks ago? Is that something that's worse now? Because I know the slipstream effect seems stronger now than it used to be. Has that affected the way the cars follow each other?
To be perfectly honest, it should have been better. Just because there's less tone. Well, there's around the same amount of toe, but just less wash when you're behind cars. So it's yeah, it shouldn't be as bad. But yeah, I don't know. It felt pretty bad. I think we're running really high downforce here and a lot of front wing. It's quite a pointy setup. So yeah, it's kind of what we yeah, it's kind of to be expected.
Well, you already had, I think, a 40-point lead going into that race. So certainly things are looking good for the championship. It can so easily go wrong, though, can't it? I mean, we saw in this race so many incidents. It only takes one bad night, and all of a sudden it tightens right back up again. So you can't afford to relax now going to Silverstone, can you?
No, yeah, exactly. It's just about not crashing in race 2. I mean, if I do a clean race 1 and I do a good qualifying, that's great. And then I think the championship, just because it's the same points as winning race 1, it just all revolves around this around the second race and how people get on and how quickly you can come through the pack. But I mean, there was points in that first lap where I'm not sure if you guys were able to see it from my perspective at all, but the whole track was just blocked, and I was taking the grass left, right, and centre, cutting corners, just trying to get out the way of everyone crashing. And I don't know how I managed to get through it without any damage, but yeah, it was good fun.
Yes, he says rather hesitantly, but yes, I know what you mean. That was pretty exciting stuff. You came through it well, though. A really good, solid podium result there, and sets you up well now for the second half of the season.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Browning then maintains his championship lead, doesn't quite maintain his winning ways, though, after winning the first 3 rounds of the championship. Third place overall and second in class is the best that he can get out of round number 4. And that, Damien, is that then. 2 more races done at Snetterton. It was always going to be, I think, a little bit messier than Donington, just because it's such a narrow circuit. There are lots of these pinch points, aren't there, into the hairpins at Wilson and Agostini and down at the complex as well. And it really is a mark of the professionalism and the raw ability of people like Luke Browning that they're able to pick their way through that and somehow come out the other side with a good result.
Yeah, but that's not to do a disservice to any of the other guys, of course. They're, the virtual world throws up its own challenges that you wouldn't get in the real world, just as vice versa. But yeah, another good night. 2 good races when we were racing. And like you say, it said earlier, it's all looking good for Luke Browning heading to Silverstone. It is quite a tight technical circuit here, so I suppose a few more incidents were to be expected. You do have a few more hairpins, a few more heavy braking zones than Donington. But next up for us, Silverstone GP, slightly more open and expansive. So it should be a return to some of the racing we saw at Donington a couple of weeks ago, which was fantastic.
I think we're in for a pair of really good races at Silverstone. That is the perfect layout, really, for this car and this group of drivers to really stretch their legs. And yeah, plenty of 2 and 3 wide action, I think, in a week's time. And you can join us. I hope you will join us in a week's time, same place, but at the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit on the 8th of February. And then a week after that, the championship deciders at the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit on the 15th of Feb. Damien, thank you for joining me, and we'll be hearing from Damien again in a week's time. Thanks to Graham at Year One as well for putting together the broadcast, and thank you to everyone that's tuned in to watch. I hope you're enjoying your winter iRacing activity. There's so much more racing on the way, and lots of real-world announcements on the way as well in the world of British Formula 4, so do give them a like and a follow on social media to keep up to date with what is happening ahead of the 2021 season. It's certainly shaping up to be a good one. That, though, is all we have time for tonight. Thank you very much for joining us here at the Snetterton circuit. We'll see you again next week for rounds 5 and 6 of the British Formula 4 iRacing Trophy.